Say hi. Say hi, everybody. Welcome back to our kitchen. Today I wanted to bring you all along on a video where I take one of our whole chickens and I show you how I make multiple meals out of it. Now, I am actually going to be making one of these birds for a friend. In our family, generally, when I make meals out of whole birds, I'll make 2 at a time. So I'm going to show you what we do with a whole bird and the leftovers that we have. And I thought I would show you the menu of what we're going to make. So super simple meals. The first one is going to be a crock pot chicken with potatoes and carrots. The second meal is going to be chicken quesadillas. And then the third meal is going to be a chicken noodle soup. But you could also make chicken and dumplings or chicken and rice soup or whatever soup you're feeling for that day. So we went to Walmart today. I felt like Walmart was kind of a pretty across the board grocery store to shop at. I will say we did buy our ingredients organic. So the numbers do reflect an organic budget. So for some of you it might be a little more expensive. Some of you it might be a little cheaper depending on how you shop. So, excuse you. So here we go. I'm super aware that there's a lot of conversation about concern for the price of food. And so I wanted to do this menu specifically straight from the grocery store. Not everybody is growing food. Not everybody has all the ingredients they need for stuff. So I did purposefully make this video with store-bought ingredients so that maybe it could be relatable to you if you don't grow your own food. All right, so we got some onions. The thing I love about onions is they're super, super versatile. You can use them as seasoning in the chicken. You can use them as seasoning and delicious fragrance in the soup. And then you can also like caramelize them and put them on top of the quesadillas. Sneak them into the quesadillas inside the shredded chicken. So I love the versatility of onions. Second thing I got, I love potatoes because now if you have sugar issues, potatoes may not be your best option. But I love potatoes because, again, they're versatile, they're filling, and they're good. These 3-pound bags of potatoes and these bag of onions will stretch really, really far, even past this meal that we're working on the next couple of nights. Next up, again, versatile, simple, healthy, delicious, if you like it, maybe not, is celery. I love celery in roast. It just adds some flavor. I love celery in soup. It adds flavor. And there will be leftovers. So this will go past these 3 meals that I'm getting ready to show you. So again, it extends the budget past just 3 meals a week. Okay, again, my biggest thing when it comes to having to shop on a budget is versatility and flexibility. We did not always homestead. We actually lived in several large cities where the majority of our budget went to rent and utilities. So we didn't have a ton of food budget. And so there were weeks where we were like, which is more important to us, a gallon of milk or a bag of grapes? Which is more important, a loaf of bread or the peanut butter to put on the bread? So we've been there, we get that. So that's one reason why I love the versatility. Yeah. That's one reason why I love the versatility that different vegetables have, like carrots. We'll be able to throw these carrots in the crock pot with the chicken, put it in the soup, have it as a snack. Super versatile. Again, this bag will stretch further than just these 3 meals. And that's kind of a theme that you're gonna see is when you buy ingredients, purposefully planning meals around those ingredients that you already have allows for your budget to stretch a whole lot further. Price point, you know, cheese is expensive, dairy is expensive, but I think sometimes it's just worth putting in the money for cheese and butter because everything is better with butter, in my opinion. And not everybody cooks with lard like we do. We cook a lot, we save a lot of money by taking all of the lard from the hog that we process every year. And I do a lot of pan searing with that. But again, I wanted to make this pretty relatable for everybody. And not everybody has lard in the pantry. So that's why I went ahead and purchased butter. And then obviously we don't make cheese. So cheese is something that we do buy. On the average week, I do cut costs. We make our own tortillas. I like to make our own tortillas. Fewer preservatives. It's cheaper in the long run from us or for us. But again, I wanted to make this a little more relatable than just like what we make here from scratch. And not everybody has time to make tortillas. Not everybody has the desire to make their own tortillas. So I did purchase tortillas. And then the last thing, this one for us is a little pricey because it is the gluten-free pasta. But you could easily purchase just regular pasta if you use it, whole wheat, whatever you use. And this is what we will use for our chicken noodle soup. Another cost-cutting opportunity for this would be, instead of buying the tortillas and the pasta, to buy a bag of flour and make your own tortillas and then make dumplings or biscuits instead of the pasta, and you could make chicken and dumplings or chicken and biscuits. But because I wanted to make this menu quick, accessible, and budget friendly, I went ahead and just picked up some pasta. All right, so now we look at prices. Our chickens whole run about $3 a pound. And our chickens range baby, mommy, gentle, be easy. Okay, so our chickens run about $3 a pound. And they range 2 to 3 pounds depending on the size of the bird. And we have customers that say, hey, we want a bigger bird, or hey, we want a smaller bird. So I would guesstimate about $10 in chicken for one bird. Now, we are going to be doing 2 chickens because it's a family of 7, and I find that 2 birds generally works really well for us planning meals this way. We could do 1 bird, but having that little bit of extra meat and protein in our soup and quesadillas is awesome. And then a lot of times we do still have extra leftovers, even after 3 meals. So, looking at the price breakdown, overall, our total spending was $30. And then you add roughly $20 for chicken, and that gives you a total of $50 for these 3 meals. Now, again, a lot of these ingredients are going to go past that, and you can probably even do a second or a 4th meal, if you're doing the full 2 birds. Now, if you're only doing 1 bird, you're going to be looking at closer to $40 in groceries. So again, it's not the cheapest, but it is a healthy, awesome, very quick 3 meals for supper that I'm going to take you guys along on this video. All right, so good morning. This is day 1 of our 3-day meal plan. And today we're doing whole chickens. And the awesome thing about a whole chicken is it's super versatile. If you're comfortable with piecing it out, you could piece it out and have like legs and breasts and thighs. But for the sake of time and convenience, I'm gonna just roast this whole chicken. Now, I love a roasted chicken also because you can either roast it in the oven or you can throw it in a crock pot or an Instapot and make it really hands off. I'm gonna use the oven today to roast these because I am roasting one for a friend as well. So we're gonna do roasted chicken with onions and celery, potatoes, and carrots. Like I said, I've got 3 chickens here. 1 is for a friend, and then we're gonna do 2. So the recipe that I'm doing is based off of my family of 7, so I do need 2 chickens today instead of just 1, which may work better for your family depending on your size. So I'm gonna do 1 in a to-go container and then 1 in a container for us. This has been in my pantry for a bit, so it is dusty. So we're gonna wipe it out. And then you can line your pan with parchment paper, aluminum foil, or not, whatever you're comfortable with. I like to line it so it doesn't stick. Makes it easier to clean. veggie time. So my kids are super hit or miss when it comes to roasted carrots with the chicken or a roast or something like that. So my goal is normally for them to have 5. So my goal for them is to normally have about 5 carrot chunks per plate. And so as I'm cutting these, that'll kind of give me a guess on how many carrots to peel. If your kids love carrots, you can do extra carrots. If your kids aren't super fans, then you can, you know, whatever you appropriate for your kids' serving size. One day I'm gonna get a real peeler again, so I don't have to use my julienne slicer. Okay, so when you get your scraps, there's a couple of things that you guys can do. We normally give our scraps to the chickens, but I know not everybody has chickens, so you can either just throw your scraps away, which is kind of sad in my opinion, or you can actually save all of your veggie scraps and use those in your broth, which we'll talk about later. So that's what I'm gonna do just for the sake, so you guys can see what you could do with it if you don't have chickens or pigs or animals that would eat it. So all of my peelings for my carrots are gonna go in this bag. We're gonna move on to the onions. For me, the order doesn't matter. You may have a particular order you want to do things in. I don't. It's all going in the pot together. So while I move on to the onions, my helper over here is gonna help me cut up these carrots for my friend's dinner as well. So you get started on those, and I'm gonna get started on the onions.
So just pop it in there?
Yeah. I'm not gonna put the paper skin into the broth bag. You could if you wanted, but I'm not going to. So we're just gonna dice these up. For me and my family, I'm gonna dice them like this.
Oh, glory. Don't rub your eyes.
I'm trying not to. I have no word.
I don't know if like I'm just super sensitive to onions or what, but man, the onions that I've gotten over the last couple of weeks, they're all so strong. Now I do celery mostly for the added flavor. My kids don't actually like to eat it cooked like this, so I'll eat it, but they really won't. And these tops and bottoms can go in the bag.
Can I cut them up?
We're gonna hit the potatoes, and these ones I'm actually gonna chunk a little bit larger again so that they hold their shape. But what I've noticed is my kids on their plates, they just smush them and make smashed taters. So ultimately it doesn't really matter if they keep their shape or not, but for the sake of the cook, we're gonna keep them chunked. Okay, so this is what our veggie base looks like for our chicken. And again, if your family absolutely loves the vegetables, then add extra vegetables. If they're like, then don't add extra, you know. But you can cater that to whatever your family likes. Another reason I really like this simple dinner is because I can do it seasonally. And so while all of this produce actually came from the store, if you're shopping local and you have a farmer who has beans, you can throw raw fresh beans in there and those will cook down. You could put peppers in there. You can make this a variety, add tomatoes, like add cherry tomatoes whole. There's a ton of variety that you can add to this simple meal that's not going to break the bank. It's going to be super healthy and it's going to be tasty as well. I preheat the oven at 350 And then we're gonna get the chickens out. We're gonna preheat the oven at 350, and then we're gonna get the chickens out and get those seasoned and in the pan. So I left these out I set these to thaw last night. And so they are ready to go. For this video, I'm just gonna season it very simply. Ta-da! So pretty. All right, so I'm gonna super simple season these: salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. You could go with rosemary, Italian seasoning, whatever suits your fancy. But knowing I'm gonna make broth out of this, and it's gonna be broth for chicken noodle soup, I'm gonna go with just like a basic seasoning. So salt, garlic, love garlic, pepper, and that's what our lovely Bird's Own veggies look like. I am going to plop some butter on top. If you've got lard, you can use lard. If you've got oil, you could use like olive oil or something. But we're going with butter. And we like butter, so I'm gonna do a half a stick. I probably would do more, but we're just gonna go with half a stick today on that. And have that ready. So we'll add some water on top of this, pop the lid on, and stick it in the oven for about an hour and a half, or until the inside of the chicken reaches 165. Near the bone, because that's what takes the longest to cook, is the area around the bone.
What about the lid?
I'm actually not gonna put the lid on. I'm gonna be here all day to watch it. So I'm gonna go in and baste it here after a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, if I were to do this in the crock pot, I would just stick it on low and slow and let it cook all day. Say I need to run to the chiropractor or you have to work or something. I just stick it in the mornings. Roast or crock pot chicken, whole chicken is one of our favorite things to do on Sundays, so I don't have to cook when we get home from church. It's ready to go and we don't have to think about it. So lots of flexibility with this. You can prep it ahead of time, and if you've got like teenagers at home, you can be like, hey, at 3 o'clock, stick it in the oven, 350. You can leave a note for your husband, anything like that. So super simple, or your wife, I guess, yeah. So whatever, it's super flexible for your family. And so that is meal 1 of our 3-day meal plan. All right, so kids are finally in bed, and we are gonna finish cleaning up the dishes from the day, and then we are gonna tackle our leftover chicken from dinner. Dishes are finishing up. The hub stepped in to help out. So, like I mentioned, for our family, we do normally do 2 whole chickens, because this one's pretty much toast, and this one still has a portion of a breast and a whole breast. So I am going to pull off the breast meat and put it in a container, and we'll use that for our quesadillas. And then the rest I'm going to dump into a crock pot, and I'll show you how I'll make chicken broth off of the leftover bones, meat, skin, and veg. I think it's right there. Oh. You literally are gonna get bit by a snake, honey.
I'm thankful it's not a snake.
You're literally gonna get bit by a snake. Obviously not literally, but. Huh?
Might as well then.
Yeah. On a normal day where I'm not doing this quite so late, I would probably pull some of the dark meat off for the quesadillas as well, just to add extra flavor and tenderness to the quesadillas. But I'm tired, it's late, And I feel like a lot of you, if you're in my shoes, you're tired, you're late, so you just want to pull the easiest meat off and save the rest for your broth. And honestly, when you roast a whole chicken like this, the breast meat doesn't dry out that badly. And if you are concerned about it being dried out, you can just grab some of the stock out of your roast and throw it in on top, and it'll just sit there and marinate in that all night long. All right, so breast meat for quesadillas, and then we're gonna make some broth. Technically it's stock because it's made with the meat and the bones, but that's neither here nor there for me tonight. So, Tim got me the crock pot washed up, so we're gonna grab that and get started. All right, so we're gonna take our chicken, and drop it in. Hey Tim, will you help me for a sec?
Sure.
Please. You can see we've got like a ton of vegetables left over. You could either pull the potatoes out for like a meal leftovers. You could smash them and make potato cakes or mashed potatoes out of them. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to pull the potatoes out, and then I'm going to throw the carrots and the celery and the bird and the broth all in the crock pot. I'm going to pull the broth off so I can see potatoes. Yeah, she ate like 2 servings of chicken, potatoes, carrots, onions. She ate all of her onions.
Wow.
She ate olives. Girl, chowed down.
She's hungry.
She says, "Mommy, I'm eating it all, so I can have a piece of chocolate cake."
Yeah, that checks out.
I said, "Whatever works, sister." All right, so we're gonna throw that in there, and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna actually throw in some salt and some apple cider vinegar. Vinegar will help draw the nutrients out of the bones, from what I understand, and makes the stock even healthier, from what I understand. So salt it up. Cider vinegar. And then I'm just gonna cover the whole thing with water and leave it simmering all night long. I love making homemade broth and stock because it's so hands-off. So we're gonna let this simmer all night and we'll pick back up in the morning. Hello everybody. Welcome to day 2 of our whole roast chicken menu prep. Today I am gonna do the cheese quesadillas because I have worked this morning outside. My sister is here with our kids, and so I need just a really quick lunch to throw together before she takes off. And that's one reason why I really like this meal, is because you come in from work, your kids come in from sports, whatever your schedule looks like, and you've got 10 minutes to get lunch on the table because the baby's screaming, or dinner on the table because the baby's screaming. And so this is a really easy, quick cleanup, quick make meal that you can make with part of the leftover chicken from the night before. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw some butter in the skillet, quesadilla, cheese, chop up a little bit of this chicken, and lunch is gonna be ready. Bring him in here and sit in here with me. That's totally fine, I don't care. I'm just chopping this chicken and getting lunch for him. Hi! What is that problem? Are you getting hungry? Yeah? Well, you don't want to eat just, I mean, you might just want to eat this. Go for it. You hungry? Are you hungry? Want some chicken quesadillas? What, sweetie? Is that your hat?
Mama's trying to cook. Just let me cook you right now. Yeah. Let Sarah do her job.
You bite? You bite? Is that good? Is that better? Are you hungry? Another bite? Chicken? Bite chicken? No? Oh, easy, gentle. One piece and then I'm gonna make lunch. Surely I'm not the only one that has kids that are complaining about being hungry as you're actively trying to make lunch. Surely I'm not the only one. I like quesadillas also because, like, if you've got, for example, when I was in high school, my brother had an early practice and I had a late practice, and so my mom was always feeding us in shifts, and so this is a meal that you can easily, feed people in shifts on, or if you've got teenagers coming in from ball practice and you're not home from work, they could just make some for themselves very quickly and easily. So chicken, cheese, and then for mine, I'm actually gonna use some of those leftover onions we have and just caramelize some onions to throw on top. I put it away. Why?
I got another bean to put in.
Okay, just set it aside, and when we do schoolwork this afternoon, you can put it in, okay? I was chatting with a friend who is on our state WIC program, Women's, Infant, and Children's, I think it's assistant program, I'm not sure. But we were chatting about this meal, and she mentioned that their quesadillas, she could do this meal sort of, or these 3 meals sort of. She could buy chicken from like a local place, and then their program covers whole wheat tortillas and not just like regular wheat tortillas. And then she mentioned they don't do pasta, but they can do rice. And rice would actually be a really cool option for these 3 meals because you could do like a chicken and rice soup, but then you could also beef up this meal by making a serving of rice to go with it. So to add a little extra calories to your kids' bellies, you could do a rice as well. So just as a thought, if you're on a program like that, there's a lot of options that you could still support a local farmer, but utilize a lot of the ingredients that are on your program. So, and still eat pretty healthy and stay in budget. All right, so a simple, quick, cheesy, meaty meal for our lunch could be your dinner. And obviously if you've got like salsa or sour cream in the fridge or something like that, you could add to that easily as well. So there's tons of ways to bulk up this simple meal. Okay, so we were cleaning up from lunch and I realized I forgot to drop all of my veggie scraps in the crock pot last night when I made broth. This broth is gonna keep simmering until this evening. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in so that any extra nutritional benefits that they may have, is that cold? I'm sorry. That they may have will go ahead and get steeped into the broth. right, we're gonna let that cook down the rest of the evening. Hello everybody, welcome back to day 3 of our chicken meal prep planning. And I'm going to be very honest, I am so thankful for tonight's dinner. We have worked outside. We have worked outside today in the garden prepping for garlic. We went and got a first load of wood today, and so I'm very thankful for a simple, quick meal that we can enjoy while we just hang out this evening and start to rest. So the broth I've got into the crock pot. We talked about this during the first part of the video. So I've got it warming up so that there's no thick top, like from the butter or from the broth. And so it's all liquid because there is a portion of the broth that, because this is unstrained, unfiltered, it does have that thick layer of fat on the top. Your graham cracker with Nathan. That's very kind. I have one for Nathan if you want to give him his own. I think that's enough. Let's let him, don't give him too much or he'll shove them all in his mouth. They helped us with wood today, and so they're hungry. I'm gonna get this strained and then pull some chicken off of it and then get our chicken noodle soup rolling. But before I do that, I'm actually gonna go ahead and cut up the vegetables. We're actually getting ready to have dinner, and it's chicken noodle soup. All right, so I like to caramelize my chicken noodle soup veggies in either butter or lard. And I've got a little bit of butter left over from our quesadilla and such. So I'm gonna use that and soften these down in that before I add the broth to them. You're expecting perfect knife cuts from Mom tonight. I'm sorry, you're gonna be very disappointed.
Why?
Because Mommy's arms are tired. And my knife cuts are terrible. And then in lieu of parsley or another herb, I'm gonna actually use the celery grains. And I'll save these for the end.
But you want to drink a carrot. But carrots are crunchy.
Carrots are crunchy.
Not a crunchy carrot.
No, I need them for dinner. So, if you've got like a Sam's Club or a Costco or something, I know our Sam's Club has started carrying the organic carrots that I like in bulk for a little bit cheaper. And so I like to actually pick those up from there because I can get them. It is granola, a little bit cheaper there. Look how little that carrot is. Isn't it cute?
Yeah.
So cute. Chicken and noodles. The veggies are just extra in a chicken noodle soup.
Can I have these?
Nope, I gotta have these for the soup.
Eat me one. Eat me one.
And then since chicken noodle soup is, I guess, typically done with either like a homemade noodle or an egg noodle. I couldn't find any gluten-free egg noodles, so I got this spaghetti pasta, and I'm gonna break it up just like an egg noodle. All right, so I am gonna run on the assumption that there is a good chance whoever's watching this and wanting to utilize this information has like salt and pepper and maybe some garlic in their pantry. So I am going to add some salt and pepper and garlic to our soup base, and then move on to the next step. So now I'm going to use a strainer. If you don't have a strainer, you can just kind of carefully ladle it out as you use it. Then I'm going to strain my broth now. Oh my gosh, it smells so yummy. All right, so it's not the most appealing looking thing, but if you were to strain this out into a bowl, it was going to be this golden, luscious, delicious color. I'm going to go ahead and get this broth straining. Oh man, brown stuff everywhere. So any of you guys find that the more tired you get, the less your muscles want to work? I don't know if you can see the color. But it is just a beautiful, almost orange from all the carrots color. But it is very yummy looking.
Smells great.
Thanks. Alright, so I've got a good amount of broth in my pot already. So I'm going to go ahead and strain the rest of this into a metal bowl. But that's going to go ahead and let that start to boil up and soften the veggies really good. But I'm very tired, so I'm not very thinking maybe.
Am I hitting it good?
My thinking skills are broken. Alright, so I'm going to let that cool because it is very hot and that chicken is going to be super hot to touch. But it's already cooked. So the nice thing is, while the chicken is cooling, I can go ahead and get the broth boiling so that I can add the noodles. Now, last night got a little crazy on me after dinner, and so I didn't get a chance to do all of this last night. But if I had been thinking and had the energy at the end of our day yesterday, I would have gone ahead and strained all this, done all of this last night. But I didn't have time. So this was just, you know, you can just sit it in the fridge until you're ready to pull it, and then you can use it later. So that's what we've done today. And so we're gonna let this cool, get the noodles cooked, throw some chicken in, and we're gonna have dinner done. I also, just like on a normal day, really enjoy cooking my potatoes or my noodles in broth, because I know not every kid's gonna like to just drink broth out of a cup, but if I can hide the nutritional benefits of broth inside of tastier things that they might enjoy normally, like pasta or potatoes, that's a plus in my book. So another little tip to throw some healthy stuff in your kiddos' diet. I do also want to note that the longer you let your broth cook down in the crock pot, the more that the carcass will fall apart. So if you want a really, really easy pulling the meat off job, pull it off the night that you make the whole roasted chicken, and then get as much meat off of it as possible. You're still going to get a ton of flavor even without the meat in your broth stock mixture, but it's just a whole lot easier. You're not having to pick apart as much because it's more together. It's more held together. So random tip to save time and frustration: if you put this in like I did for 24 hours, it falls apart very easily because all of the muscles and stuff have cooked apart, which is what you're wanting. You're getting all of that delicious and beneficial stuff from the muscles, but it does make finding the meat in the pot a little bit more challenging. So save you a little bit of heartache and frustration during this process. Saves money in my pocket, but then it also allows me to honor the animals that did give their life for me and my family as much as possible by utilizing as much of what they give me as possible. So 2 reasons why I like to use as much of my whole chicken, and 1 reason why I like to buy the whole chicken if I were to be buying them. All right, so there is our chicken noodle soup. Now, my broth straight. If the broth is too strong, you can add water to it to thin it out, and then you could have extra broth for the next time. But I'm like, you know what? Let's make this as hearty as possible. We'll include as much broth in it as possible. Plus my kids do genuinely enjoy broth, so that makes it good too. So that's what we're gonna have for supper. I'm gonna get this bowled up. I'm gonna go put some sweats on and just take the night off. So, but that's kind of our 3 parts, what to do with the whole roaster on a budget video. I hope you guys have gotten some creative ideas on what to do, how you could possibly stretch your budget a little bit to be able to support another local farmer in your area. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Lexi, I'm sorry that you didn't help.
Stink.
All right, you ready? Come here. Let's start it over. And do it again.